Are your actions aligned with who you want to be? I was journaling a few days ago and I had asked myself, what are ways that I'm in alignment with who I want to be and what are ways I'm not? And it got me thinking about writing about this and, making a video, obviously, about this topic because I don't think many people are as self aware. And I'm not trying to flex that. I'm just saying that there are a lot of people who don't know how to keep themselves accountable for their own actions. It is a hard look at myself in the mirror, as well as if you tried these out yourself. But I do think that with knowing yourself better, there's a better world at the end of it. So, yeah, we will go through different questions and see if you would like to answer them as well. This also doesn't just play into character traits or the self development world. I do think it really relates to anything, whether that's financial, career, health wise, friendships, things like that, like where you are deciding a lot of things that you maybe don't realize. So I think the slap in the face is being honest with yourself finally. First question I will make you ask yourself is, who do you want to be? This is a very deep question because not many people are asking themselves that, at any point in their life. And then they get to a point later on where they're like, where was I supposed to be going with this? Like, where did I want my life to be at 20 now that I'm 47? Like things like that. Being self aware is an art that not many people have mastered. But I will say, self awareness is key to any amount of growth. Being aware of where you're going, who are you en route to be, these kind of things are definitely these little, I'd say like stones almost of like, okay, I'm here. I need to get here. Am I even in that route? This is also where you realize that a lot of the choices you make are, like these are things that you chose. This is fully in your control. A lot of people find excuses for the actions that they've done or whatever it is. It almost always is a choice that you've already made. Another big choice is, who do you want to be? So let's start there. Write that down. Write that down. Who do you want to be? Number two, what actions do I need to do more of in order to get to where I want to be? Use this one as also like a pat in the back of how far you've already come. You've worked hard, so acknowledge that and be proud of how far you've already come. I think diving into the self development realm of things, it's really easy to just beat yourself up all the time because this person's waking up at 5 o'clock in the morning. This person is going to the sauna 30 minutes a day. Like there's so many little like wellness hack and it's just like an absurd routine that like nobody has time for. But I do think that like you've already done a lot of growth. And if you found my account, obviously you've also done a lot of growth. And that's proof, I guess. So sit back and just write down all the things that you've done well. Write down all the habits that you fall in love with and you find that are very helpful for who you want to be. Self praise is never bad unless you're like, comparing yourself to other people, then it is narcissism. But I do think that self praise is everything because without that, who else will put you up? Like you're relying on other people to pick you up. No, use yourself and give yourself some self praise. High five yourself, queen. You're doing great. Recognize that and do more of it. The third and last question is, what actions do I need to do less of in order to get to where I want to be? Unfortunately, we do have to be real with ourselves sometimes and call out the bad things that we do. In my case, I'm an overthinker, so currently working on not overthinking, which is kind of hard, but it is something that I realize is taking a lot of my energy and my time just because I'm working in these scenarios in my head that don't even exist yet or even ever. Like these are just things that pop up in my head and I'm freaking out about. When you get real with yourself and you start, seeing the patterns, seeing the things that obviously are holding you back from getting from, point B to point A, you start to let go of all the BS that's been holding you down. So if this looks like, you have a list of bad habits, you can start going through the list, seeing where you can replace bad habits with good habits or kind of giving yourself a reward system. If you've ever read Atomic Habits, which is a wonderful book if you haven't read it, there's this concept of habit stacking. Highly suggest reading it. look into it, look it up. It's a wonderful tool that definitely has helped me with my habits. Another thing is assessing the people that you're around. So I am an interesting character for this, and I love to rate people's energy. So it's like, if somebody gives off like positive vibes, obviously I'm going to try to spend more time with them. If it's negative, then I'm probably not going to see them all the time. You can do this with every single aspect of your life, a workout routine. This workout's not working, or not, I'm not loving what I'm doing when I work out. Change your whole routine then. Like you don't have to, it's not a one size fit all type of thing. Nothing is a one size fits all. So I'd say go through, see what's making you happier, what's in alignment with who you want to be, and drop off the things that aren't serving you. Accountability is key for all three of these questions, but I will say, especially this one, if you're not being real with yourself, if you're not, you know, being honest with how you behave, what you're doing, then you're not really going to grow. So, those are the three questions I highly suggest going through. It's not a lot, obviously, but I think it gets overwhelming when you're going through a bunch of journal prompts. And I think these three are a little bit more simple. You can tackle these within a week in between. It's something slow. Life isn't meant to be mastered in one day. So if it is something that you touch once a month, like that's okay. Everyone goes at their own pace. And I just think that these three questions are very important to ask yourself if you are even in alignment with who you want to be, but also who do you even want to be. This is especially important in your 20s because your 20s are already hard enough. You're already learning everything. It's almost like you went to school, but then there's so much more that you didn't learn that you still have to learn. And it's a privilege in itself, but I do think that if when you get real and you know who you want to be, it is a little bit easier. Recognize where you're strong, but also recognize where you are weak. Who do you want to be? And are you in pursuit of that direction? Thank you for sticking around. I hope everybody tries these journal prompts and wish you the best. Peace and love.